Today we're making jack-o'-lantern full head masks using nothing more than store-bought foam pumpkins. Now these foam pumpkins are carvable and it'll be the perfect head mask for any Halloween lover. So join me for this super easy tutorial. To begin making our jack-o'-lantern face mask, we need a foam pumpkin. Now I saw this idea on TikTok by creator Nick Painting, so I'm going to include his YouTube in the description of the video so you can check out his other works that he's created. But these foam pumpkins, I get them from Micheal's. There are other retailers that sell these type of foam pumpkins that are hollow on the inside, but the best ones I've ever gotten are from Micheal's. And normally they're on sale right before the Halloween season, so right now is the best time to get them. Next, we need to draw a face on this. I'm going to use a Google image as an inspiration, but I'm going to freehand it, and you should as well. If we use a stencil, it looks a little bit choppy. I've never liked tracing or using a stencil, so freehand is best. It looks natural, organic, and, really grimacing. So we're going to draw a face with a marker, 2 eyes, nose, and a mouth, and then we're going to cut it out with a hot knife. Now, I've already made a tutorial on how to carve these type of pumpkins. I'm going to try to put the link probably somewhere up there. Click it so you can know all the details on how to carve a foam pumpkin into awesome jack-o'-lanterns. So we're going to quickly run through this, but that tutorial is right there, so definitely check it out. Once we draw our face, we get our hot knife, and then we start cutting. Another thing, all of the items that I use on my channel, I link them in the description of the video. So if you want the same items I'm using, just go in there, click the link, it'll take you to all the stores, so it takes the guesswork out of everything. So let's get started. Before we continue with this tutorial, I wanted to show you all the first book that I've written. It's called Little Olive and the Woolly Bat, and it's rated for kids ages 2 to 6 years old. It follows a brave little olive that gets lost and is found by a very helpful brown bat. This is the first book I've ever written, and I'm super excited about it. It's available on Amazon via paperback or Kindle. So if anyone wants to support me or read it to their kiddos, go check it out. The link is in the bio of the video, Little Olive and the Woolly Bat on Amazon. Now let's get back to this amazing tutorial. So before we begin drawing the face, you'll see that these pumpkins have a seam right here in half because these are 2 halves that were glued together. You don't want to draw the face along this seam right here. So you want to do it on this side or this side. So I'm going to do it right here. And I always like to start off with a nose because that centers me. So we'll probably make a nose like this. There we go. And then from there, you can make the eyes. So, like this. So as you can see, I'm not perfect at drawing, but no matter, once we cut it with the knife, it's going to be perfect. And for the mouth, probably we'll do a grin like this. So as you can see, I've done my face like this. If I wanted to, I could actually make more teeth or make the teeth sharper when I cut it. But perfect, we have a basic face right here. So let's get to cutting it with our hot knife. To carve this foam pumpkin, we're going to be using a hot knife. Now this hot knife comes with about 10 different tip attachments, but the one you want to use is the one that looks like an X-Acto knife, as you can see. Now this is extremely hot, so you need to be very careful while using this. You don't want to cut yourself or burn yourself. So that once it's really hot, then we're going to start cutting. I like to start with the eyes. So what we do is we simply stab it inside, and just like that, it starts cutting. I'm not even putting a lot of force. just like that. We're going to keep on doing this for all of the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. And this is what we're left with. As you can see, this took me no more than 10 minutes to carve this out. And we could leave it like this, or we could dry brush it and make them look like this. As you can see, this one was dry brushed. I used some black acrylic paint, a brush, a little bit of water in order to do all of these, you know, creepy looking details on it. So if you want to know how to do this, again, check out my other video on how to carve foam pumpkins. It's on my YouTube profile. You can check it out to see how to do this type of style. But now that we've got this done, the next step is to cut it in half. And what we're going to do is use the seam right over here as our guide to cut this foam pumpkin in half. But before we start cutting the seam, we need to cut a hole in the bottom that is the circumference of your neck. So I'm gonna get a elastic measuring tape, or flexible measuring tape, should I say. I'm gonna measure my neck, the size of my neck. Then we're going to make the hole the size or slightly bigger than my neck so that there's some room for it to move. Do that first. This is very important. Measure your neck, cut the opening, and then once you're done cutting it, then we can start cutting it along the seam. So what are we gonna do when we get to the top? No, we're not going to cut the stem in half. What we're going to do, this is the front, this is the back. When we come with our hot knife, we're going to go like this along the back of the stem to meet the other seam, just like that. We don't want to cut the stem in half. Once we have that done, all we got to do is attach the magnets with hot glue, and voila, we are almost done. So let's get to it. So I measured my neck using this flexible measuring tape, and it turns out that it's 16.5 inches. Therefore, I'm gonna be doing the hole 16.75 inches so that there's a little bit of wiggle room once the pumpkin comes over here, because it's gonna be like this. You don't wanna be too tight across your neck. So make it about 1/4 inch to maybe even 1/2 inch bigger than your neck is so that it's comfortable around it. So now that we know the neck measurement, which is the circumference, how do we translate that into a hole? Super simple. Take the circumference of your neck, in my case, it is 16.5 inches, and divide it by pi, or 3.14. And then the estimated outcome is about 5.25 inches. So what I'm gonna do is measure 5.25 this way, and then 5.25 that way, and then just connect the dots with a circle, just like that. Then you cut it out, and that should be a perfect opening to put your neck on there. So again, measure your neck, whatever it is, divided by pi, or 3.14, and that'll be the diameter that you use to make it super simple to make the hole. So let's get to it. And if it's too tight, if it's too tight, we can use our hot knife to make it even bigger. So we got it just like that. Now let's cut it out. And this is what you should be left with. That took me no more than 5 minutes. Super simple, and look at that. Now we have a pumpkin, or jack-o'-lantern, that can be divided in half. So, one little tip that I learned right now, cutting on the actual seam was very, very difficult because of the adhesive. So, I carved about 1/4 inch away from the actual seam, and it was so much easier to cut it that way. So definitely do that when you're cutting it. See, the seam is right there, and I cut about 1/4 inch to the opposite side. So it's perfect. This is so good. Now what we need to do is, I'm probably going to cover the inside of the face. I have some speaker mesh that I'm going to use. It's this soft mesh that's black. we're going to stick it with hot glue on the inside over here. So you can see out, but people can't really see in. We're going to do it for the eyes, nose, and mouth. Once we're done with that, then we're going to stick the magnets. And this is a super simple part because the magnets I have are super small. We're going to make little holes right over here, probably 3 on each side, and then the same on the other side, so that when it comes together, it can just hold in place like that, and it's very easy to take off. So let's do the speaker mesh first on this, and then let's move on. Now that we've cut our pumpkin in half, we need to place it back together and then mark it so we know exactly where the magnets are going to go. So as you can see over here, there's 3 marks. They're basically just dots on either side of the cut pumpkin. That way, when we make the hole inside of the pumpkin, we know exactly where the magnets are going to go. So let's get to the other side as well. We're going to put just a little mark like that, like this, just like that, so that when we open it, we know exactly where the magnets are going to meet. And putting the magnets is so simple. I have a drill bit right over here, but you can use an X-Acto knife, you can use a screw, but this drill bit will work so perfectly because what we're doing over here is we're simply going to make a hole right in there, in between. So we grab this, we don't even need a drill, and we go like this. We twirl it just like that, right in the middle. And just like that, we've made a nice little dent for our magnets. So we're going to do the same thing to all of these areas. Hole right there. So 6 holes on one side, and on the opposite side, we do the same thing. Using these marks that we made right here as guide, we're going to go right in the middle, do our little hole like that, so that when the magnets are placed inside, they are completely flush. You want the magnets to be flush, not sticking up. So I have my magnet right here. So these magnets are super small. Right there, yeah. And we'll put it right in here. Just like that. And I'm not sure if you can see, but they are flush. You can't even see it like this. So we need to put some super glue or some hot glue. You can use a combo of both. Super glue will be stronger, but hot glue will be faster. So I'm going to be using hot glue right here once I make all my little dents all over it. So this is what it should look like once we're done. I'm actually missing 1 magnet here, but if you see, I only said we were going to use 3 on each side. No, that did not work out. So instead, I'm actually going to put another magnet here for a total of 6 and 6. So 12 magnets per half for a total of 24 magnets. The reason is that even though it was holding fine with 3, it wasn't as solid as I wanted it to be. When I was bouncing around, walking around, if you're too rough with it, it was opening. So I had to add more magnets. Another little tip I could do or could give is to get bigger magnets. Even though these are the perfect size, I think a magnet that's twice as big would fit here as well, and it's probably a little bit stronger. So I'm going to include the magnets I used in the description of the video, but definitely maybe go with a little bit bigger magnet so that it's a little bit stronger. So in total, we're going to use 24 magnets. And now let's put on this beauty. One last tip, if you plan to go out and about with this, go to a party, go trick-or-treating, I'm not sure that the magnets are strong enough to stay on with running or walking or a lot of movement. I only say that because it does hold, but if it's easy to pull apart, I'm sure it's easy to fall off if you're too rough with it. So a workaround I would see is putting perhaps a Velcro strap right over here. And another one right over here. I've used Velcro before, and I think it would actually look like really cool, like if it had surgery. But that's just me, because I definitely want to use this out and about. And if I'm running or jumping or whatnot, I feel it could potentially open. So maybe using, like I said, stronger magnets or Velcro straps that strap it like this and like that, I think would be great for this if you plan to be rowdy with it. But oh my gosh, it looks so great. Let's put it on.